Good afternoon, all of you. On behalf of the Professional Development Committee of the Western India Regional Council, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, I welcome all of you for the webinar series on Cost Audit Nana Satra. Today have a second session on hospital industry. Our today's speaker, CMA Kishore Bhatia sir, practicing cost accountant. He is a founder and partner of Kishori Bhatia and Associates Cost Accountants. Also, he has a 40 plus years of experience in a costing profession. He's worked with Tata Group for the setting up and handling corporate MIS and reporting to MD. Also help MNCs and corporates in cost saving and cost control. Also involved in the bank and PE funding, general business advisory, CSR advisory, startup and hand holding. I welcome sir and request sir to kindly start the session, please.
Thank you, Pujanka.
Thank you,
Namaste
sir.
and good afternoon to all. Please excuse me, I have a sore throat. Uh, so today we are looking at an industry which is unique in its a unique kind of service where priceless lives are saved, and family fortunes, everything is at stake. Anyway, let's get on with our subject. So I shall be sharing my PowerPoint screen for benefit of all of us. One minute. Is the full screen visible? Wait, let me open it now. Is the screen visible to all?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Still not visible?
Not visible, sir.
1 minute. In typing share. One minute. See. Now is it visible?
Yes, sir. Now visible,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah. So to begin with, most important, our institute had published a guidance note on cost management in healthcare sector, which is a very exhaustive publication, and I would request all the participants to go through this booklet guidance note. That is why I am not going to get into all the details of this booklet, because it would amount to having maybe many sessions just on this subject. I'll be touching some of the salient points in the healthcare sector. All of us can always go through the guidance note. I'll be talking about the uniqueness of this industry. Also, I will be presenting costing in this hospital sector in a simplified manner, which will be a separate Excel file at the end of after the PPT is over. And for those who are interested in having a copy of the PPT or the Excel file, they can email to me. I shall be sharing my email ID at the end of the session. Alternatively, I shall be sharing the PPT as well as the XLS file with the WIRC admin, and you can ask them to send you the copy. So I acknowledge that freely available material through internet has been used for this presentation with the objective of propagating knowledge. Now coming to essential readings, most important, as I told you, guidance note on cost management in healthcare sector published in 2015 by our institute. Secondly, there is a very nice article, How to Solve the Cost Crisis in Healthcare by Robert Kaplan and Michael Porter. This is published in Harvard Business Review, September 2011. Request all to mute their mics, please. So one of the quotes in this Harvard Business Review article is, while measuring medical outcomes has received growing attention, measuring the costs required to deliver those outcomes The second component of value equation has received far less attention. What this article has been propagating was that we need to measure the outcome of the healthcare service provided, which is in the form of recovery of the patient, getting back to normal life, etc. And it should be compared with the cost incurred thereof. And what they are saying is that medical outcome can be measured with quite ease, because if a patient say he has gone for knee replacement, now after the surgery and post surgery treatment, etc., if he can walk normally, then medical outcome has been seen. Similarly, a patient going for say heart bypass, now once the recovery is through, we can see whether he is normal or not. So outcome can measured with reasonable ease, but the cost side thereof has not been studied in great detail. So we are focusing on the cost side. What they are saying is, in the value framework, the relevant cost is the total cost of all the resources, clinical and administrative personnel, drugs and other supplies, devices, space and equipment. This we know is normal for all our costing. We will have all the resources which lead to the production or generation of the service, which are the various cost elements. So these cost elements during a patient's full cycle of care for a specific medical condition, including the treatment of associated complications and common comorbidities. Comorbidities means presence of two or more diseases or medical conditions in a patient. Say, for example, a person has gone for tooth extraction, but he has diabetes. Now, this is a comorbidity, and doctors find it difficult to, go for to do tooth extraction for diabetic patients, because there may be blood loss. So there is a different way of treatment. So every patient in hospital is a unique patient, because very often there may be some uniqueness in each patient's health, which leads to a different, so to say, in our terms, different SKU. Now, little bit more about the industry. It's a unique industry, we all know. It is a perishable service. It can't be stored to be provided in future. Hence, proper utilization is of paramount importance. So, the operation theaters, the wards, the outpatient department, etc., these are running on occupancy basis. If, say, operation theater is not used for 6 hours, it's a loss. I can't re inventorize it. I have to keep on using all my resources. It deals with life, human and other forms. We have also seen there are animal hospitals. Healthcare has become one of India's largest sectors, both in terms of revenue and employment. Now, what does healthcare comprise of? Hospitals, medical devices, clinical trials, outsourcing, telemedicine, medical tourism, health insurance, and medical equipment. Now, this is the total gamut of healthcare industry. However, for purpose of cost records, not all of these are covered. We shall be dealing with that separately. And uniqueness of this industry is, the person receiving the treatment is X, but the payer may be third party. For example, it may be insurer or government or employer. And as I mentioned earlier, while health is priceless, healthcare needs to be affordable. There are poor people who need healthcare. It needs to be affordable to all sectors, because human life is priceless. Now, other readings apart from what we saw, the guidance note. These are the general readings. Guidance note on companies' cost records and audit rules 2014. Then FAQ of February 2024. FAQ on UDIN. When I'm certifying, I need to be aware of FAQ on UDIN. Then XBRL guidance manual. Then cost accounting standards and guidance notes there too. GACAP. Standards on cost auditing and guidance notes there too. For practitioners, this is very important. And opinions of technical cell given from time to time. Now let us look at the applicability under section 148 for this sector. As per the rules, any company engaged in health services, namely functioning as or running hospitals, diagnostic centers, clinical centers, or test laboratories, are required to maintain cost records and having an overall turnover from all its products and services of rupees 35 crore or more during the immediately preceding financial year, need to maintain prescribed cost records in accordance with Form CRA1 of the rules. So if my turnover for the company is exceeding 35 crore rupees, and if I am providing even 1 rupee of service under healthcare specified in the rules, I have to maintain cost records. Further, every such company shall get its cost records audited in accordance with these rules if the overall annual turnover from all its products and services during the immediately preceding financial year is rupees 100 crores or more, and the aggregate turnover of the individual product or products or services for which cost records are required to be maintained is 35 crore or more. So items covered under table B and A combined, if they exceed 35 crore rupees and total turnover of the company exceeds 100 crore rupees, then cost audit is also required. Now, if we look at the FAQ released in February 24, any company engaged in providing health services through functioning as or running hospital, diagnostic center, laboratory, physiotherapy centers, and post-operative treatment centers are covered. So these are the coverages as specified under our FAQ of February 2024. Exemptions from this: companies running hospitals exclusively for their own employees are excluded from the ambit of these rules, provided, however, if such hospitals are providing health services to outsiders, also in addition to its own employees on chargeable basis, then such hospitals are covered within the ambit of these rules. So, say for example, a factory has a hospital for its workers and it doesn't provide services to any outsider, then it is exempt from the rules. A hospital which is providing service to its workers as well as to outsiders for free, the outsiders are also treated for free, then such hospitals are not covered. However, if it is on chargeable basis for outsiders or even for employees and the revenue is exceeding the threshold limits, then such hospitals are covered under these rules. One more clarification in the FAQ. It is clarified that companies engaged in running of beauty parlors or beauty treatment are not covered under these rules. Next, under MSME Act, there is an exemption. All of us are aware. Still, for the sake of brevity, I shall repeat it. Nothing contained in these rules shall apply to a company which is classified as a micro enterprise or small enterprise, including as per turnover criteria under subsection 9 of section 7 of MSME Act 2006. These limits were upwardly revised during the year. So investment in plant and machinery for micro enterprise 2.5 crore and turnover up to 10 crore rupees for micro enterprise. Small enterprise investment up to 25 crore and turnover up to 100 crore. Such companies are exempt from maintenance of cost records and cost audit. However, they need to meet both the criteria, that is investment as well as turnover. Next, let us look at some of the major issues in this industry. These are unique business models, then identification of revenue streams. There are certain peculiar expenses and some other issues. So we shall be dealing with all of these. A, business models. There are different management and ownership models. So for example, we may own a hospital as well as operate. The hospital may be taken on lease and operate. This happens with many of the corporate chains which are operating in this country, or specified these branded hospital chains. They take hospital on lease and operate the hospital. Similarly, such chains also operate on revenue sharing basis. So, for example, if a doctor X has set up, say, 100-bed hospital, and it is being managed by one of those corporate hospital chains, then there may be a revenue share agreement. Then there is a public-private partnership basis. Very often we have seen governments give certain resources for free or at a subsidized rates. There's a public-private partnership. And then there's pure management fee basis. So I own a hospital, but X is managing on management fee basis. Then different business models. There are standalone single specialty or multidiscipline hospital. We initially we had seen there were only standalone hospitals. So a hospital, say in Mumbai, will not have a branch, or a hospital in Delhi also. No hospitals used to have branches. Today, what we are seeing is multi-locational hospitals, chains of hospitals. Then there are independent pharmacy, that is the chemist shops, which are not covered under the rules. Then there are OPD chains, outpatient departments. So these are covered in the rules, OPD chains. And there are in-house OPD also. So along with the hospital, there is an outpatient department running. One of the leading hospital chains has a hub and spoke model. So there is a hospital and there are, say, 8 different OP outpatient departments located outside the hospital at different parts of the city. So the OPD chain is part of the hospital, but it is not located within the hospital. But often there are in-house hospitals also. And then there are hospitals which are for profit and there are hospitals which are not for profit. Somebody had a question. So, Madam Kanadia, you had a question?
No, sorry, no question.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So next we will see the revenue streams for the hospital sector. These are picked up from various companies, hospital companies' annual reports. These are different from what we see in our normal manufacturing trading companies. So we have heads like income from medical and healthcare services, sale of medical consumable and drugs, inpatient services, outpatient services. Inpatient services are those where the patient is admitted into the hospital. So that is called inpatient, and outpatient is normally outpatient department OPD services. Then there are laboratory and clinical services, income from medical services, management fees from hospital, income from clinical research, outpatient pharmacy. Now, this is not, some of these items are not covered under the rules. Revenue from canteen services. One of the leading hospital chains is reporting this as a revenue head, revenue from canteen services. Next, if you see the breakup in annual report, the customer categories are also given by some hospital chains. Cash customers, that is including card payments, UPI wallet, bank transfers and checks, and credit, including copay. Copay is insurance, etc. Then nature of treatment also is shown in the annual report. How much was earned from inpatient and how much was earned from outpatients. And other operating revenues, if we see, we have learning and development income, teleradiology income, revenue share income, license fees and commission from licensees, service charges received from doctors, income from IT for healthcare services. A leading hospital chain is providing IT solutions for healthcare services, and they are showing this as income, and sponsorship incomes. Now, there are peculiar heads also in the annual reports. If you see main P&L, purchase of medical consumables, drugs and surgical equipment, changes in inventory of medical consumable drugs and surgical equipment, stores and spares consumed. Now, if we open any annual report of any manufacturing or a trading company, these heads, of course, are not being seen. And then under current assets, we have patient treatment in progress and unbilled revenue. So, I mean, both are more or less similar. Like a patient who at the year end is still in the hospital, his treatment is not over, his treatment is in progress. So he has not been billed, or he has been billed partly, but the bill has not been submitted to him as the treatment is in progress. So under current asset, these are like work in process WIP items in the current assets. Then let us look at some of the peculiar expenses which are appearing in the notes to P&L account. Hospital operating or general upkeep expenses, professional consultation fees to doctors, patient welfare expenses, hospital management fees, medical gas charges, biomedical wastage expenses. This is a peculiar head. The companies have to take, hospitals have to take care of the biomedical waste generated. It can't be just thrown in the dustbin. Repairs and maintenance to hospital equipment, patient food and beverages, then pharmacy purchase and camp expenses. Very often hospitals conduct camps at outside locations, sometimes for welfare of people, sometimes to generate goodwill, etc. These come under camp expenses. Pathology lab expenses, radiology expenses, outside lab investigations, that is when any patient has been referred by the hospital to an outside laboratory, medical services expenses, pharmacy loyalty discount. So if I am buying, say, drugs from a hospital regularly, they are giving me loyalty discount. Continuing medical education and hospitality expenses, and canteen and utility purchase. Then one of the leading chains has outsourcing expense shown under P&L under the following four heads: food and beverages, housekeeping, biomedical maintenance, and security charges. Now, business segments shown in a leading hospital chain's annual report. Healthcare services represents hospitals and hospital-based services. Retail health and diagnostics includes clinics and diagnostics other than those included in healthcare services. Digital health and pharmacy distribution represents the business of procurement and distribution of pharmaceutical, FMCG, and private label products business from various services using the digital platform. So this hospital chain is selling FMCG, consumer goods, etc. through online platform. So they have a separate segment, digital health and pharmacy distribution, and others, the residual breakup. Now let us look at the cost centers. Typically in a hospital, you will have easily have 100 or more cost centers, but I am only giving names of a few cost centers. For example, say operation theater. Now, in a hospital, you may have 5 operation theaters. So there will be 5 cost centers. We need to collect data and maintain data for each of the operation theaters separately, because each would have different occupancy, and sometimes they are specialized operation theaters also. Then cath lab. Then wards, we all know there are general wards, twin sharing wards, single, deluxe. Then we have ICU, ICCU, pediatric ward, NICU, PICU, daycare. Daycare is where a patient is admitted for the day and is discharged before the end of the day. They don't stay overnight. Then we have outpatient department and investigations, chemotherapy, physiotherapy, dentistry, ophthalmology, dialysis, health checkup, lithotripsy, X-ray, CT scan, MRI, sonography, some more cost centers, pathology, endoscopy, neurolabs. These are the cost center, illustrative cost centers where revenue is getting generated. This list is not exhaustive. Similarly, we have support services for these revenue generating cost centers, such as casualty and emergency, central sterile supply management department, biomedical waste management, medical records room, infection control room, sample collection room, patient catering, and quality control. Then these are the medical department. Then there are non-medical departments also, administration and non-technical cost centers. So we have administration department, then we have accounts department, costing and MIS, information technology, marketing, human resources, electricity and DG set, and maintenance. Again, this list is not exhaustive. As mentioned earlier, there will be typically 100 or more cost centers in a hospital. Then let us talk about from where to get the data. So the main place to get the database data is called Hospital Information System, or as they abbreviate it, HIS. A hospital information system is an element of health informatics that primarily addresses the administrative and operational needs of the hospitals. In many implementations, HIS is a comprehensive integrated information system designed to manage all aspects of a hospital's operation, including medical, administrative, financial, and legal processes. HIS is also referred to as Hospital Management Software or Hospital Management System, HMS. Now, if you look at when we go to a hospital and we get admitted, what happens is we are given a unique code or a unique identification in the hospital, and everything which where we go, whichever department we go, or whatever is being supplied to us, etc., are all recorded under this HIS. So, for example, if I go today and as Kishore Bhatia, I am recorded and I am given a patient number, say K101. Then I go to get my eyes checked up. So ophthalmology department in OPD will record my treatment. Then I go for, say, getting my ears checked up. There's a lot of wax that is also getting recorded. After 2 months, I may come saying that I have stomach ache. The doctor will say, okay, you get yourself sonography done. Everything is recorded. And if I given my previous recorded number, or if they are keeping a track through, say, mobile number or name, etc., then the same number will continue and they will keep on recording my medical history. So sonography is done, then doctor says, okay, gallbladder needs to be removed. So again, I get admitted in the ward, which bed, when checked in, admitted, when discharged, when the surgery was performed, by which doctor. All those things are recorded in the HIS. For example, even if I look at it based on the HIS, I can extract the occupation level of various wards, various operation theaters. So I can determine my capacity utilization also from the HIS. Also, as we shall see, the hospital, as I already discussed, cannot be inventorized the industry. So what happens is it's a perishable commodity and capacity utilization is paramount. So the calculation through HIS is also equally important. So if you are doing an audit of a hospital, or if you are getting involved in costing of a hospital, the robustness of HIS will determine the quality of the output, the cost data. Most important part is HIS. There are certain leading software agencies who are providing ready packages of HIS. Hospital information systems provide a centralized source of patient data, including medical histories, lab results, imaging, and visit schedules. They enhance coordination among healthcare professionals by making patient information available when and where it is needed. So what happens is, say my X-ray is also recorded in the HIS. My sonography for my stomach is also recorded in the HIS. So when the surgeons are going to perform gallbladder surgery, they can look at my sonography through the HIS. I need not, keep on carrying the papers with me. It is already available in the system. These are very sophisticated system. It may or may not be available everywhere. Now, under the HIS, how the patient master is recorded. Here I am showing a sample of inpatient. So patient name, then he will have an ID. For sake of identification, we may prefix it with IP so that we know this is for inpatient. Address, contact details, referred to by which doctor. Is he covered by medical insurance? Yes or no? How is he going to pay for the treatment? By cash, credit, or it is going to be cashless? What specialty he has been is to be treated under cardiac, cardiology, oncology, etc. What bed types he has preferred, deluxe, single, ICU, etc. Admission date and time, discharge date and time. Then operation theater, cath lab hours utilized for him. What was the surgery performed? Level of surgery. Now, depending on the complication, the surgeries are leveled as 1, 2, 3, etc. Very complicated surgery will have a higher level. Are there any pharma issues, like any pharmaceutical drugs have been issued to the patient, whether they were billable or were they part of the package? Very often we may find that hospitals say that, okay, 3 lakh rupees for XYZ surgery, which includes the pharmaceutical issues also. So whether billable or not billable, but the value thereof is always captured in the HIS. Similarly, consumables issued for the patient, whether billable or non-billable, the value is captured. And doctor consultation, so there also the details are captured. Investigation details and bedside procedures. These are all captured in the IP patient master. This is also not exhaustive. I'm just giving a sample of what can be added here. It may run into maybe 20, 30 more fields. Similarly, for outpatient, there can be a patient master in the HIS. Mr. Harsh Gangan, you have a query?
Yes, sorry to interrupt you, Kishore bhai.
Can you
Just
say a
one
little
question.
louder, please?
Yes, can you hear my voice now?
Yes.
Yeah. Kishore bhai, good afternoon.
Good
Sorry to
afternoon.
interrupt you.
No,
Just
no.
quick one. In
Hmm.
these patient master details, whether the KYC detail like Aadhaar card and other things are captured? Because,
They can be captured, but I don't know whether they are captured or not. Because when I go to a hospital, normally they do not ask for my Aadhaar card.
okay,
In case, I mean, I may be wrong because I have not gone to a hospital for a long time.
okay,
Somebody can correct me.
okay, Kishore. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Right. Then we have outpatient master record in the HIS.
Kishore sir,
So, yes, sir.
sir, good afternoon.
Good
In
afternoon.
case of this is Sushanto sir, yeah. In case
Yes,
of
sir.
inpatient,
Right.
that normally the Aadhaar card or PAN number, etc., are not recorded. But when someone is getting admitted, right?
Right.
So that so when a patient is getting admitted, then it is mandatory that the patient gives his Aadhaar card or PAN number, more preferably Aadhaar card, and the police station
Oh.
along with his residential address, the
Uh-huh.
applicable police station, because sometimes the patient may come with a critical illness and you never know the fate of the treatment. So the
Right.
police
Right.
station may be required.
Right.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
for
Thank you.
clarification. I mean, I did not know this point. Thank you very
Yeah,
much. All of
thank
us
you,
have
sir.
benefited from this. So For OP patient master, we will have the ID, the address, the contact details, who has referred, how is he going to pay, for what specialty he has come, when he has come, consultation details, investigation details, consumables issued, pharma issued, same way, payable, billable, non-billable, and what is the value thereof. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this also is not an exhaustive patient master list. It may have many more fields. Now, other issues in the hospital industry is the need to identify and exclude underutilization expenses. We all know underutilization, and we need to identify and exclude underutilization expenses. They may arise in wards, operation theaters, radiology department, lithotripsy department, dialysis, many other places. So these need to be identified and excluded. We need to reconcile, very important, issues and consumption between pharmacy, main store and sub stores for medicines and consumables. What happens is, say for example, a hospital has in-house pharmacy store, chemist shop. Now and there is also a main store. So all the drugs are kept in the main store, and as and when required, they are issued to the shop for sale, and they are also issued to sub stores. In a hospital, there will be sub stores where the pharmaceutical products or even consumables are stored. These may be at each floor level or for each operation theater. Now, very often what happens is there are leakages in the system. So it needs to be tracked properly. What has gone from main store to the sub store or to the pharmacy shop, whether it is received there and recorded or not. In more sophisticated systems, this gets automatically recorded, and the issues and sales need to be captured in the system. And end of period, the physical stock must tally with the book stock. This helps in stopping the leakage or theft pilferages of pharma products as well as consumables. Very important point. Then next problem is how to bifurcate package rates into components. Say a 3 lakh bypass package will include operation theater charges, surgeon's fees, room charges, medicines, consumables, etc. The sum of the parts based on the rack rate is usually more than the package cost. Here what I am saying is, if I were to get admitted for my bypass and I say I don't want to opt for a package of 3 lakh rupees, you charge me for each of the services or consumables, pharmaceuticals consumed by me. Then at the end of the day, I may find that this has come to 3.12 lakhs, or some other patient may find it has come to say 2.9 lakhs. But the hospital, what they have done is based on their experience, they have set up a package in which is say 3 lakh rupees. So these type of things come into, these are unique features of this industry, and we need to find out ways to work out how to bifurcate this income into various heads. Then we have special discounted rates for corporates and government employees. Very often companies tie up with nearby hospitals for the benefit of their employees, and they get say subsidized rates, or the company is paying the bill and company is asking for say 20% discount. Similarly, we have PM Jan Arogya Yojana, where the rates are fixed for various treatments depending on the location of the hospital and the type of hospital, etc. So these rates are fixed. A hospital may be charging say 3 lakhs for bypass, but under PMJAY it may be say 2 lakh rupees. So these are special discounted rates. Similarly, we may find cheap and free land being given to the hospital against commitment to treat certain patients at subsidized rates. So these are unique issues which we need to address. Then there are changes in billing. Very often, many of us may know that, say, for example, I have been admitted to a hospital for gallbladder surgery, and I will tell the doctor, the hospital, that I want to be admitted into a single bedroom. the single bed ward is full. So what they will do is they will put me in the double twin bed ward. But the charges for billing will be for the single bedroom. They are very clear that depending on what you want, the charges will be levied. But if the specified ward is not available, then you may be admitted into another category of ward. Still, you will have to pay for the higher. Now, what happens is that when I'm asking for a higher category ward, even the doctor's fees go apart from ward charges. But still, I may be, admitted in a different ward. How to present the data in C1, that is capacity and utilization. Based on my understanding, most of the hospitals are not giving this data. In case any of the participants in today's session has a different view, please let us know. Please share the knowledge. Then how many services to include in the C2, the cost sheet? A typical bill includes several line items such as admission charges, operation theater fees, anesthetic charges, X-ray, dressing, visitors cot. Very often a patient may ask for an extra cot for the visitor. CAT scan, wardroom, surgical supplies, consumables, pharmacy, surgeon's fee, doctor's fee, etc. So all these cannot be easily included in the C2. Otherwise, it would run into many pages. Each of these do not constitute a separate service, hence need to work out proper classification for grouping of services. So for example, as we already talked, the surgical supplies and consumables will not form a separate service. They will be part of the comprehensive service. Similarly, surgeon's fee may be part of the operation theater charges inpatient. Doctor's fee will be for perhaps linked with the ward or with OPD. X-ray, MRI, etc. will go into radiology. Then there is need to consolidate across locations, which we do for our other manufacturing services also, manufacturing sector also. So a chain may have 20 hospitals. So we need to consolidate across the locations. And how to present the expenses in the C2? Industry specific expenses head is very useful. I shall be dealing with this in detail when I show you the cost sheet in the XLS file. Continuing further, how to value captive consumption, provision of service by one division to another. For example, diagnostic service to a surgical patient. Now, if we look at the CRA1, it says that this should be valued at cost, but this is very difficult. What happens is this gets added as a diagnostic service in the billing. So it may be inpatient service, it may be for an inpatient, but it's a separate bill item. So there is no need to value it at cost. The pharmacy, the chemist shop is a trading activity and hence is not covered under section 140. However, pharmaceutical products sold to a patient are getting added in his bill. Similarly, pharmaceutical products consumed for a patient while the treatment is being given are also part of the rules. And we also know production, import and supply of or trading of certain medical devices, including stents, valves, implants, etc., are covered under section 148. However, some hospitals take a stand that these are part of procedures and are consumed, and hence these are not covered. So what they are saying is, say there is a kneecap replacement. Now that medical implant used thereof will not be, they will say this is not part of my medical implant activity because I am not selling it, I am consuming it. I am a user of it. I am not a seller or a manufacturer of it. Then coming to GST, very few services of this sector are covered. For example, aesthetic surgery is covered for GST. Now let us look at some industry ratios. Traditionally, hospitals used to use bed occupancy as a yardstick of measurement of performance. So with the advancement in medical technology, the average length of stay is reducing, and hence bed occupancy is not the main performance measure any longer. So hospitals used to measure their performance by average length of stay. So in a year, say the availability of various beds in various wards is say 10,000 throughout the year. And if there are say 100, say 1,000 patients, then average length of stay is 10. But what has happened is, we all know now surgeries have improved, treatments have improved. We have microsurgery, nanosurgery, etc. So what happens is the recovery period post surgery has fallen. So average length of stay is not the criteria where for measuring the performance of a hospital. Because what happens is, say for example, when I am admitted for say gallbladder, again continuing with the same example, what happens is that the first day they will perform a surgery, so operation theater is utilized, and my monitoring my health post surgery is also done very intensively. From second day, it gets reduced. I am just staying in the hospital for recovery, and maybe after 2 days I'll be discharged. So the total length of stay may be 3 days, but the major revenue has been generated only on the first day. So average length of stay, if it goes up, then what may happen is I may not be getting the high revenue days, less high revenue days as compared to getting more high revenue days for a shorter length of stay of the patient. Of course, this is subject to occupancy level being high. We have also heard cases where patients are not discharged by some of the hospitals, being an unethical practice, till they have another patient coming in. Now coming back to our main PPT, the increased utilization of costly resources, example, equipment in operation theaters, ICU, cath lab, path lab, etc., in addition to doctors' times, are the key to success in hospitals. We may find that wards are occupied post-surgery, but high investment, high cost services, etc. may not get utilized, as I discussed just now. So there is a move from average length of stay per occupied bed to average revenue per occupied bed. Soon this may change to average contribution per occupied bed, because getting higher revenue does not mean that I am going to have more profit. Higher revenue may be generated because the costs are high. Anyway, but today this ACPOB is not in vogue. What is in vogue is average revenue per occupied bed. Let us look at an example. This picked up from the PowerPoint of Apollo Hospitals. Now we can see over a period of 15 years how the average length of stay has been falling. Very clear graph. Similarly, if you look at average revenue per occupied bed, now you can see it has gone up from 16,620 to 57,488. So this is where the comparison makes more sense. How am I improving year to year? Of course, this is subject to inflation adjustment, but I am sure 16,000 cannot become 57,000 just because of inflation adjustment. Then there is a National Accreditation Board for Hospital and Healthcare called NABH, set up by the government. So NABH is a constituted board of quality control of Council of India, set up to establish and operate accreditation program for healthcare organizations. Now, why this becomes important for us to know is, okay, this is dealing with quality of the hospital accreditation, but it has cost implications, as we shall see. It is a comprehensive process that evaluates a hospital on infrastructure, staffing, clinical services, infection control, patient rights, and quality management. The hospital must meet minimum space requirements, ensure appropriate staff numbers, maintain patient safety, and demonstrate a commitment to quality improvement. Hospitals that successfully meet these standards gain NABH accreditation, which signifies their dedication to providing high quality care. Similarly, there is another board, National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories. So, these offer accreditation to services to all testing, including medical and calibration laboratories. So, coming to NABH accreditation impact, I have given a few examples. So, there is a minimum space per bed defined under NABH. So for a hospital with say 100 beds, the space requirement for inpatient beds is typically around 120 to 150 square feet per bed, which will include the bed area, bathroom, and other associated spaces like storage for medical equipment. So if you want to be accredited under NABH, you need to have this much space per bed, minimum this much space. Similarly, nurse to patient ratio. The nurse to patient ratio is critical and varies based on the patient needs. So in case of ICU or CCU unit, the required ratio is one patient to one nurse or one nurse to two patients. In general wards, the ratio is one nurse to four patients to one nurse to six patients. Then minimum staffing for 100-bed hospital, there should be at least 50 to 60 nurses are required to ensure proper care across multiple shifts. So what you are seeing is these are the requirements under NABH, but they have an impact on cost. But I cannot set up a say a hospital with 100 beds, but I am giving say only 100 square foot place to a patient. So there is a cost involved here. Similarly, nurses also have a cost. We are paying salaries. We may have to provide accommodation and other incidental expenses for the nurses. Now coming to the final slide, draft rules 2024. All of us are aware. Last year, draft rules have been issued by the MCA. We are still awaiting the outcome of the draft rules into final rules. But what they have done is, under hospital healthcare, there are 28 codes specified, National Product Classification for Services. These can be seen in the draft rules issued by the MCA. These are 8-digit codes and these are proposed to be covered. So within healthcare, they are specifying that 28 types of services are to be covered. Similarly, considering the suggestions of stakeholders, one of the points mentioned in the report is considering the suggestions of stakeholders, the committee which was formed to draft these rules feels that separate cost audit formats may be required for few sectors like healthcare, telecom, and infrastructure, etc. So what they are saying is that there should be a separate format, unlike what we have today, for example, in the C2, that format is general for all the services. But what they are saying is healthcare being unique, it should have a different format for cost audit report. Thus, the committee recommends that MCA may develop separate formats for these sectors in consultation with ICMAI and the respective industries and stakeholders, keeping in view that there is no additional compliance burden on the companies. So we are still awaiting the final outcome of the rules, and many of you may recollect towards the end of last year, the institute had held webinar on the subject for industry specific formats, which included a session on healthcare formats also. So this was my last slide. Thank you very much. Now we shall be looking at the cost sheet in XLS format. This is my email ID, kbhatia@kishorebhatia.com. Feel free to contact me for a copy of the PPT, as also if you have any suggestions or if you can suggest any improvements for me also, please feel free to contact me. Now I shall be opening. Now I shall be opening the Excel format. Please give me 2 minutes. In the meanwhile, if there are any queries or any points for any of the members to share, please go ahead.
Kishore sir,
Yes,
many hospitals do have a pharmacy, right? Attached to
right,
the
correct.
hospital. Now, uh, when a patient is admitted to the hospital for treatment, any medicine issued from the pharmacy to for that particular patient is included in the billing, and in our tax treatment, the we do not charge any tax because uh, the primary objective is the healthcare service, which is exempted.
Right.
Right. Now, if a patient just walks in
Hmm.
for getting a consultation of a doctor, and now the
Hmm.
doctor has prescribed some medicines, he has an
Hmm.
option to buy from the attached pharmacy or from somewhere else. Now,
Correct.
if that particular patient goes to the pharmacy, buys that medicine, then
Right.
that medicine comes under the GST
Hmm.
because that will be a sale of goods.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Hmm.
that particular sale from the pharmacy is not a medical service.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Right.
in that, so the issuance of medicine from the pharmacy can be categorized under two. That one is for the outpatient who have just walked in, got the consultation, bought the medicines, and another one, consumables and the medicine issued to admitted patients for their treatment. So that those part of the medicine will be considered as an exempted because that is a composite supply where the predominant supply is treatment. Okay,
Hmm.
that is the healthcare service. So that is
Right.
exempted. So that part of medicine will be exempted for the tax treatment, and the outpatient sale of medicine will be considered as a taxable supply. I believe this will have a bearing in the cost structure or that hospital information management system, because accordingly the sale of medicines will be categorized under the exempted sale or taxable sale, and the tax will
Hmm.
be treated accordingly. I
Right.
just thought to add this point.
Sure. I am not aware about the GST treatment, so I cannot comment on it. And also, all of us are aware very often, even for inpatient, the doctor will say, please bring XYZ medicine. So a relative of the patient will go and bring such medicines. So there again, it may be it may be charged with GST because it is being a cash purchase from the pharmacy shop within the hospital. I am not aware, so I am unable to comment on the
No,
GST
no,
part of this.
no, that's all right. That's all right.
But it's an interesting point. If possible, I shall check with some hospital people about this.
Sure, sure. If
Thank
you
you.
can, kindly get back.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else would like to give any comments, queries, suggestions, views, please. So now I shall share the Excel file for calculation, how it is being done. Is it visible or do I need to expand the font size?
No, visible, quite
Thank you
visible.
very much. So this sheet deals with the revenue. So I have made a very simplified cost sheet. There is a revenue summary, which is classified bifurcated into inpatient and outpatient. So there is room tariff. Obviously, outpatients do not get admitted to ward, so there is no room tariff. Similarly, operation theater charges, doctor's fee. Now this can happen at both IP and OP, pharmacy sale, radiology, pathology, and dialysis. So total revenue for inpatient and outpatient, 40 lakh rupees is the total revenue. Now we go to the allocation cost sheet. Is it clear? Should I make the fonts larger?
Kishore bhai, those are visible.
Huh?
Figures are visible.
Okay. Thank you. So this is a very simplified table. As I had mentioned earlier, there can be 100 cost centers in a hospital or even more. So if you go to a hospital, you would have seen that every floor has a table or what they call as nurse station. Now, say if there may be 20 floors with various wards, etc. Now you will have 20 nurse stations. So all those 20 would become cost centers. But here, for sake of simplicity, we are not doing all those things. So I've just picked up a few cost centers, such as operation theater. Then we have a multi-bed wards. So what we call as general ward, twin sharing ward, single bed, deluxe room, ICU. Then doctor's fee. Also, I'm collecting under a specific head. Then CSSD department, that is Central Sterile Supply Department. So all the medical equipments are stored and kept supplied in sterile condition from this department. Then there is a nurse station, as I mentioned. There can be 10, 20, whatever, but I have taken only one. Then we have a radiology department, which will cover X-ray, sonography, MRI. Then we have pathology department. Then there is a dialysis cost center. Then pharmacy activity, which is a chemist shop. Then hospital administration. Then we have corporate headquarter, marketing department, and interest. Very often marketing deals with getting, say for example, some corporate deals, and even medical marketing departments are very active for getting overseas patients, what we call as medical tourism, because medical treatment in many developed countries is very costly. Some patients find it cheaper to come to, say, India and get themselves treated because it is cheaper, even after paying for airfare, hotel stay, etc. Very often, insurance companies also ask patients to go to third country for treatment. And then, so marketing is a very important department for those who are seeking corporate deals or those who are seeking medical tourism from overseas. There was some hand raised by one Miss Madam Usha. Any queries? And then there is the interest component in a hospital, which is there for us in many of the industries also. Coming to the expenses, we have salaries. I have classified it as fixed. Then doctor's fee. This is depending on the visits, etc. So it is variable. Then pharmaceutical. So variable cost. Consumables.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
please.
please change the allocation sheet. Change to allocation sheet. Still showing revenue sheet.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for clarifying. I will do it just now. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I shall share the window again. Hopefully it works this time.
It was stopped during the few seconds, sir.
Oh, anyway. Now is it clear?
Now it is clear, sir.
Yes.
Audio is
Right.
also clear, video is also clear.
Thank you very much. So shall I start with the various cost centers, or that was heard earlier?
Maybe last 1 minute
Okay.
talk we couldn't hear.
Okay.
If you can
So
repeat, please.
sure.
Thank
So
you.
there are various cost centers such as operation theater, different type of wards, multiple twin sharing, single, deluxe, ICU, then doctor's fee, central sterile supply department, nurse stations, radiology department, pathology department, dialysis, pharmacy shop, hospital administration, corporate, marketing, interest, etc. Now coming to expenses, I have classified them as very simple in a few heads only. So we have salaries, doctors' fees, pharmaceuticals, consumables, electricity, bed sheets and linen, maintenance, depreciation, general expenses, and interest and lease rental. Say the cost hospital is taken on lease. So we have direct expenses, then electricity is allocated on kWh, which is again an estimate. Bedsheet and linen are charged based on actual. Maintenance department is say charged on asset value basis. Depreciation again on asset value basis. General expenses we are treating as fixed. Interest of course is there, and lease rental again is fixed. Then we have the allocation. So CSSD serves only exclusively say to operation theater. So entire expense of CSSD is transferred to OT department. Then the nurse station expenses we are reallocating in the ratio of the deployment in various cost centers. So the total expenses of nurse station 4 lakh rupees are transferred to different cost centers. Similarly, hospital administration, corporate and marketing and interest. Say for example, we have charged based on revenue. There could be more sophisticated cases also. So if a loan is taken specifically, say for a costly MRI equipment, I may charge it to MRI cost center. If it's a working capital loan, it may go on a general basis. So I have the total cost post allocations for each of the cost centers. So what happens is now all this has gone away. Pure service departments, there is nothing left in the cost sheet. Then I have bifurcated these into fixed and variable based on the capacity. For example, operation theater, I am using 8 single shift and 30 days in a month. So utilized, underutilization cost for the fixed part. Similarly, wards would be based on occupancy of bed nights. So multiple wards, I have 16 beds. So 30 into 16. Twin sharing, I have 8 beds. Single, I have 6 beds. Deluxe room, I have 4. Then ICU also, I have 4 beds. So based on this, the capacity utilization can be calculated and fixed cost can be, underutilization cost can be excluded. And then what is the cost to be absorbed is available here. And the margin, we already had the revenue in the first row. So based on this, we have calculated the margin for various services such as OT, wards, ICU, doctor's fee, radiology, pathology, dialysis, pharmacy. Now, the same thing I have summarized here, and I have bifurcated further into inpatient and outpatient. So what I have is the revenue for inpatient and the expenses for inpatient and margin for inpatient. Similarly, the same for outpatients. So I can give the margins, I can give the expenses, I can give the revenue. This is typically what we find in the format D1 of the cost audit annexure. Now, how to present it in the cost sheet, the C2? So there are two ways. Please, these numbers are all fictitious. These have no bearing to the previous cost sheets we have seen. So what we'll have is we may show under material consumed, consumables and pharmaceuticals. There can be further bifurcation also if required. Then under utilities, we'll have power. Then direct employees. Then stores and spares, which may be for maintenance, or we may even show bed sheets and towels here, which are stores, repairs and maintenance, depreciation, and hospital administration cost. Then we have industry specific expenses such as ward expenses, biomedical waste expenses. This gives me the total cost. And then I have got the administration overheads, S&D overheads, cost of sales, interest, total cost, revenue, and the margin. Now, same I can present in a different way. Consumables and pharmaceuticals remain the same as per the other format which we saw, but all the expense heads are not shown here. But instead of those, what we can show is under industry specific head, multiple ward cost, bed ward cost total, twin sharing, single bed, deluxe room, ICU, ICCU. These are the individual industry specific expenses. This is a cost sheet only for wards and ICU, not for OT, etc. So the total cost 1,01,000 remains the same under both the heads, whether I present it expense head wise for wards and ICU, or whether I present it cost center wise under industry specific expenses. Cost remains the same, but presentation is different. Many of us are aware about pharmaceutical formulation rules, which were notified earlier before the common rules came, where the cost sheets were prepared on cost center basis and not on expense head basis. So we have the costs here, and then we have the corporate costs and marketing cost, interest cost, and the revenue and the margin. So margin is same under both the heads, but the presentation is different under the both. So now my presentation is over. So I would request all, if they want to have any queries or anybody wants to give any of their views, suggestions, feedback, please go ahead.
Hello, sir. My name is CMA Murli.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I wanted to talk about the discussion which happened just before you shared XML file. It is about
Right.
the treatment of items like medicines. Okay. So as far as I can understand is there were two things. First was consumables which are consumed under the operation theater, and that will be considered as a composite supply, and no GST will be applied because it is a healthcare service. Okay. And second is the medicine which is sold directly to patient as take home medicines. Okay. So my point here is that if it is a take home medicine, then it will be treated as trading and won't be covered in cost sheet.
Right.
So if I got the correct question, uh, I just wanted to say that that was my yeah.
Correct. And I also have a query, if somebody can enlighten me. Say, for example, the pharmaceuticals purchased by me or consumables purchased by me in the hospital, I am paying GST on those.
Okay.
Now, if what is consumed in the operation theater, on that I cannot charge the GST to the patient, then would I have to bear the GST, or am I going to charge them on the gross basis? This could
Patient
be
will
one.
bear the GST.
If I may answer, Kishore sir,
Sure, sir.
that see the input tax credit that is available to a taxpayer on the purchase, at the time of purchase, whatever tax was paid, broadly depends on the nature of corresponding output supply, right? Now, when the output supply is healthcare service, that means consumables and the medicines used in case of a inpatient who is admitted, that is being a part of composite supply, where the principal supply is healthcare service, the output service is exempted. So to the extent of the consumables and medicines allowed, consumed for that particular patient, the input tax credit will not be available to the hospital. That will become a cost in their hand. Effectively, what does it mean? That the patient will bear the burden, because the hospital will issue that particular medicine along with GST, because the GST, otherwise what will happen, that the input tax credit will keep on piling, and that will be an asset which cannot be utilized, right? So effectively what happens, that for that particular medicine, the cost price is inclusive of tax, because the ITC part is not available. But when that particular medicine is sold to an outpatient, right? So in that particular case, that will be a taxable supply. The revenue will have a separate line item as sale of medicine to the outpatient. That particular amount will be shown as a taxable supply, and corresponding ITC will be available. So to that extent, the cost part will be lesser than that is in case of the inpatient.
Correct. Thank you very much, sir.
So the same line of treatment is in case of every hospital has their own catering system, kind of a canteen, right? Now, when a food is supplied to a patient who is admitted to the hospital, that is a part of the treatment, healthcare service. But if an attendee who is an attendant to the patient, and if he is taking a meal, that is again a taxable supply. So, depending on the nature to whom it is being served, the tax treatment will be accordingly treated, and the line item will be accordingly defined. Because unless and until those line items are categorized, it will be very difficult to reconcile the total turnover into taxable and exempt supply. And tax treatment will be accordingly decided. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to find out.
Right. Thank you, sir. Madam Usha, you want to ask a query? Anybody, there's somebody who wants to ask a query by the name of C1.
Sir, what is the unit of measurement in this case?
Sorry?
Cost per unit here.
Can you please repeat? Sorry, little louder.
What is the unit of measurement we have considered cost sheet?
Say, for example, in case of ward, it will be bed nights.
But in your presented cost sheet, there is no unit of measurement and per unit of cost is not presented. Is it total cost?
I agree. As I mentioned earlier in my presentation, as I understand, many of the hospitals do not give the quantitative data. So I would request, if any of participants have experience on this field, please give your views.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else wants to say something?
Hello,
Yes.
Kishore sir.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dilip Bhatija.
Yes, Dilip
sir, hospital industry has got a unique features. It is a very much different from the manufacturing industry. So preparation of the annexure to the cost audit report poses challenges in some paras especially. I need a clarification on two paras. which come to my mind. In quantitative information for services provided, there are three categories: own services, services under contractual agreement, and outsourced services. So can you explain little on this? And second point is also there in para 2A. For each service provided, we have to give the details of the material consumed for the top 10 items. So how to meet this challenge? Can you explain little on this?
Sure. Coming to say C1, where we have to give the capacity under different heads, as you mentioned, correct? So
Yeah.
outsourcing can say, first of all, as I mentioned, most hospitals don't give, but say for the sake of theory, a hospital is giving out capacity data. Now, let us take the case of MRI, because very often this service is, although within the hospital, is outsourced to a third party. So for or you can say more or less it is a lease. Very often it is also taken on lease. It's a leased equipment. It may happen like that. Or I may, tie up with a MRI center next door and I may take up his entire capacity. So the capacity may be defined. I'm not sure, but somebody can enlighten me. The capacity maybe depend on, may have a number of investigations which are possible. But I have my doubts because investigations have varied length depending on the complexity or the type of investigation. Or it may be defined in terms of hours. So for example, I am running my MRI center, which I have outsourced from third party on 8 hour for 8 hour only. Against that, how many hours have I utilized? So that can be one way. So I may have one MRI machine in-house for which I may have capacity based on 8 hours. Or now in-house I may be using 16 hours. So 16 hours into one MRI machine into 365, or let's say 330 because 35 days go into maintenance. That will be in-house, and 8 hours into one machine into 330 for the outsourced taken on lease MRI. So both the capacities can be shown differently. I hope I have answered your query on capacity. Now coming to raw materials, it would be very difficult to bifurcate, say, the pharmaceuticals or consumables into the top 9 categories, top 7, 5, whatever categories. So if somebody is there in this group who can also enlighten me, I would be very happy. But as I understand, only 2 are shown. Or you may further classify, say, into implants, which would be a high value item. Now there is a query, how should we identify or allocate cost for inpatient and outpatient? Also, what about the quantity aspect? Shouldn't we calculate capacity utilization using bed occupancy? So first part, how to allocate cost for inpatient and outpatient. Most of the hospitals have dedicated inpatient and outpatient bifurcation. So outpatient is a physically located unit within the hospital or sometimes even outside the hospital. And it is totally demarcated, totally separate. But say, for example, dialysis as a cost center would be used by inpatient as well as outpatient. So it's a service and allocation will happen based on the between inpatient and outpatient based on the number of hours utilized or number of or various elements of cost utilized for inpatient and outpatient. As I had mentioned at the beginning, for a hospital, the stock keeping unit or the cost needs to be drilled down to patient level. Now, if I am drilling it down to patient level, then I also know whether this patient is inpatient or outpatient. So when I have calculated all the costs, I can just sum up what is the total of inpatient and what is the total of outpatient. Coming to quantity aspect, shouldn't we calculate capacity utilizing using bed occupancy? Yes, in the cost sheet which I had shown earlier, we had done that, but that can be done only for the wards. I cannot apply this, say, for operation theaters. I cannot use this, say, for dialysis. So depending on the type of service which is being offered, the capacity will differ. For operation theaters, it may be number of hours. For dialysis, it may be some, also it may be number of hours. So by and large, this industry runs on time utilization, but bed occupancy cannot be applied for all the services. I am not sure about GST refund under inverted tax category. Please excuse me for 1 minute. Sorry, I had to attend an urgent phone call. So I'm not sure about GST refund under inverted tax category. Any other queries? Yes, Harshbhai, what is your query?
Yes,
You have raised a hand.
yes, Kishore sir. Uh, in the initial slides where FAQs published in February 24 review had defined that which company and which type of activities are covered. So nowadays there are activities like hospice services. So basically for the patient which needs long treatment or post-operative care, etc., these hospice centers are increasing. So if there is a company having such hospice centers, then will that be covered? Because it is not hospital per se, but run by doctors and nurses and the trained staff, and they almost provide the same services to take care of the patient, but in a more of a homely nature, you can say, not in a hospital setup as such. Uh, but whether those will be covered in this if they match the eligibility criteria? Because
Yes, they will be covered.
Okay.
Let me, if possible, let me share the slide, relevant slide.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Is it visible? I'm sure it is.
Yes. So here in the first
if you see
para,
the first para, post-operative and treatment centers are covered.
Okay, so those hospice centers may fall in this.
Yes, very interesting point.
Yeah, because nowadays
one more revenue generation possibility for us.
Yeah, because nowadays, particularly in Pune, I am seeing many of such centers. Of course, those are on a small scale, not in the nature of company, but just I thought of raising this point. Because the demand is increasing for such centers.
Right.
Thank you, Kishore.
Right. Madam Usha has asked the query, how do we present underutilization in cost sheet? Just as we present for manufacturing, same way. So available bed nights are 600, utilized are 400. So underutilization will be 33 1/3%. Any other queries?
Kishore, one more point, please, just for the sake of understanding, where you were showing the Excel sheet.
Right.
Would you mind to show it again, please?
Sure. 1 minute.
Yes.
Which page you want to see? Tell me.
Yes. I think the last sheet where there is a margin shown.
That is the C2 or just the margin sheet?
Like doctor's fees, then income, cost, and then margin. That kind of line-wise there were heads and the respective cost and revenue.
1 minute. Is it visible now? Are you referring to this page?
No, then if you
The
can...
allocation sheet.
No, margin, the third sheet. Sorry.
This one.
Yes. So this is purely for my understanding.
Sure.
Row number 6, doctor's
Right.
fees, where we see revenue for inpatient, outpatient, corresponding expenses and margin. So if I understand correctly, for inpatient, if we take as an example, hospital will charge 2,80,000 from the patient, against which they will pay to respective doctors 2,52,553.
Right.
That is how hospital entity will earn 27,447.
Yes.
Am I right in understanding?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kishore bhai.
Right.
And Kishore bhai, thank you very much. This is a really insightful, particularly of this industry. It is very delicate and close to the heart subject, but we really had not gone into those details of the healthcare industry and the costing. So thank you very much. Very enlightening.
Thank you. But I see this talk is over. However, those interested in the subject of role of cost accountants in this industry, I can share another presentation since we have time. So with permission of all, or those not interested can also leave. I am sharing a small PPT which talks about role of CMA in this industry.
Yes, please.
1 minute, I shared the wrong screen.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, is it visible?
Yes, the title
Okay.
is general.
Right. So I'm not showing the entire presentation. The first few slides were common with the previous PPT. So healthcare costs for the nation are increasing mainly due to increased reach of healthcare services, increasing population as also aging population, and development of new treatments. All of us are aware that new treatments are becoming costlier by the day because there is a lot of research involved. There is a lot of costly products being developed, but then the life expectancy and the treatment quality also is improving. Then service providers can be differentiated based on geography, size, specialization, and services offered. So healthcare service provider can be bifurcated on these categories also. Healthcare services are supported by many medical functions, such as pharmaceuticals and diagnostic facilities. These need backup of administrative and logistical support. Support services such as laundry, catering, maintenance, transport, IT, documentation, and HR are essential to the smooth running of the hospital. Some activities such as emergency department services cut across all the subclasses. Say, for example, somebody has got a massive heart attack, is taken to emergency department. This cuts across all the departments and all the services because it's a question of life and death. Then we have medical tourism, which I already discussed. Then how to use the cost and management accounting system. Each of the patients, cost of each patient's cycle of care. Sir, somebody has got the mic on. Request for muting the same. So what is the patient cycle of care? It starts with initial consultation and monitoring. So for example, if a patient has got high blood pressure in the initial consultation, then it may be monitored over a period. Then the diagnosis, if it is diagnosed for some reason that a patient needs surgery, then the treatment, then recovery and rehabilitation, that is post treatment, as Harsh Gangan mentioned, hospices, and then monitoring. Very often post surgery also, maybe once a year or something, there may be a checkup. Now, the cost and management accounting system will do cost of each service. It can also do costing across the cycle of care, which can be another way of knowing what happens when a patient comes, when he has fully recovered, and post recovery also, what are the costs. Then this will help us in cost optimization. I can manage my cost in a better way. Then I can decide based on this my cost accounting system whether I should do a service in-house or outsource. Typically, we see radiology department being outsourced. Some of the hospitals even outsource the pharmacy shop. And our usual budgetary control is also based on cost and management accounting system. Then we have service pricing. So various services need to be priced by the hospital. Normally, these are also linked to what the competitors are charging. Sometimes they are unique. Some hospitals are unique. They decide what they want to charge. Then we have package pricing, as I talked earlier. There may be packages for, say, kneecap replacement or a bypass surgery. How to package this, price these packages. Then we have bulk and scheme pricing and profitability. So if I have given, say, 30% discount to a corporate group, I need to see whether has it helped me in getting more utilization and offsetting my fixed cost, or have I just lost my money? Similarly, whether I should join Prime Minister Jan Arogya Yojana or it is not profitable. So pricing and profitability needs to be analyzed here. Product mix. So which of the products are giving me good revenue? Where am I earning more money within the hospital? And then statutory and other reporting will be required under through cost and management accounting services. Who can be the users of this information? Hospital manager, setting up the pricing, negotiating contract, etc. Then hospital department heads who need to assess financial performance against budgeted targets, monitor cost structure, and track the impact of different care and management strategies on the department's efficiency and financial performance. Then we have purchasers of care who need to compare the performance of different hospitals and make decision about national funding and selective contracting. Then we have regulators or auditors who have responsibility for evaluating hospital performance and need to assess hospitals according to internal and external norms. So we have already seen NABH, and we also know that cost records and cost audit under Companies Act is applicable. Then in UK, all national health service providers need to submit cost and other data which is compiled and reported. So National Health Service in UK is asking for cost data for all the constituent members of the NHS, and that data is compiled and reported also. So various services are costed and found what is the cost for each of the services. Then there are healthcare consultants. Say, for example, I may involve a consultant who have responsibility for advising on policies of resource allocation, care purchasing, or hospital management. So they also need the information, cost and management accounting information. Then there's a quote from Sherlock Holmes. It is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. So even in hospital, this is applicable. We must have the data before we theorize something. Now, setting up a costing and MIS, we need to establish the framework of cost accounting by defining what is the cost, what are the services and outputs, and what are the cost centers. To properly manage value, both outcomes and cost must be measured at patient level. We have already discussed this. While it is easy to quantify outcome, calculation of cost is quite complex. The relevant cost is total cost of all the resources. This also we have seen. The various departments, revenue generating and support services. Then how to coming to collection of data. Proper procedures need to be laid down for collection of data. Why we need it, who will give it, what will he give, when will he give, where will he give, and how this is to be collected and collated. It's common for all the cost data, not only for hospitals. In order to generate meaningful and quality reports, It is necessary to collect data at patient level. Each patient is a unique SKU. It would be prudent to sensitize physicians, clinical teams, admin staff, and finance professionals about the need and importance of data quality. See, very often what may happen is the medical profession people may not understand or appreciate our need for data in a particular manner, or even admin staff, or sometimes even finance professionals, they say costing is not relevant. It is important. So they need to be sensitized to get proper data. Then the sequence of calculation needs to be prescribed as to which calculation will be done first, what follows next. This is important in case of ERP and integrated accounting. Calculations need to adhere to GACAP, cost accounting standards, etc. Once the reports are generated, this may be validated for accuracy. If any abnormality may be noticed, the same may need to be validated and calculation sequence may be required to be run once again for rectification. Then who will consume the data? The reports need to be distributed only to requisite persons and should not be accessible to all. Timely delivery of reports. If there are delays in generating and distributing reports, timely corrective action cannot be taken. So if I'm going to give you bed utilization data in the month of November for the year ended March, it is too late. Timely corrective action cannot be taken. Recipient of reports are expected to take corrective action. This also needs to be done in a time-bound manner to get the maximum benefit. Then action taken report may be communicated to higher ups. Impact thereof needs to be studied in subsequent periods reports. Reporting cycle, data collection, data validation, cost calculation, distribution of report, and utilization of reports. Thank you. So, shall we close the session?
No, Kishore ji,
Sir, sure.
Can I come
Please. Yes, please, sir.
I'm VV Devdar.
Yes, past president.
Yeah, I have 3 points to bring for your attention. One is, I don't know whether I have missed in your list of cost centers, the important cost centers like the emergency ward and morgue also.
Right.
They are not appearing. They should be, I think so. Whether it is already there, I don't know. I don't remember. And secondly, wanted to have clarification that is on many of the hospitals who are run under the entity like trust and so on and so forth, unregistered non-corporate entities. Hospitals are run. What exactly will be their applicability of cost audit? I don't know. Still, it is a very debatable point. And what is your opinion on that? If you can enlighten.
Sure. So coming to the first point, I had only given an illustrative list. I agree emergency is an important this thing, cost center, and I had also mentioned in the subsequent slide that emergency cuts across all the departments. Secondly, morgue is not a mandatory cost center. Some of the hospitals I have visited do not have a morgue.
Yeah, that is right.
And
but
whichever
is having that naturally, they should be.
And you are also aware that trust, etc., under which the hospitals were set up in the past. Hospitals were run as charitable hospitals very often in the past. Now, these are, of course, not covered under Companies Act. So they are not covered under the 148. But yes, if a company is set up for charitable purpose under Section 8, but is generating revenue, then it will be covered for the maintenance of cost records and or audit, depending on the threshold.
That is
There's a query from Madam Usha is the cost audit applicable for third-party administrators or insurance companies? No, madam, it is not applicable.
And say the third point, I wanted your
Sure.
opinion once again. That is
Sure.
the just as a tally package, which online on the base of every transaction, it goes right up to tallying the balance sheet, almost like. Similar to that, as you said very rightly, each and every sort of each and every patient code number or number is itself a separate SKU. So each and every SKU wise, just as we used to do earlier in textiles, each and every SKU wise profitability calculation was attempted. And similar to that, each and every transaction wise, as the case paper progresses, each and every transaction getting included in the cost sheet and getting the ready-made sort of cost sheet online basis. Is it possible, I mean, from your long experience in the field, I wanted to understand, is it possible to introduce some system like that for costing of all patient code numbers?
I have not come across. What I have seen is accounting is under some ERP, and hospital information system does not contain any financial information except for the supplies of pharmaceuticals or consumables and some billing details. But otherwise, cost data is not captured. I have not seen at least. If somebody else has seen, please enlighten the group. I have shared my email ID once again in the chat box, because I may not be in a position to note down all the email IDs which have been posted in the chat box. Please request to send your emails to my email ID for those who want. In any case, I shall be sharing my PPT with the WIRC, and if they have all the email IDs, they may circulate the same. Madam Pujanka, is it possible to do that, or it will be difficult? Okay, then I will share the PPT as well as the Excel file, and you can circulate to all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
Thank you very much. So may I close the session with the permission of all?
Yeah.
Kishore sir,
Thank you.
Kishore sir, just one point not related to this, session, but is anyone from the admin panel of WIRC present here?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, I had a request, that send us the meeting link. This is a wonderful session that has begun, and there will be a lot of sectors that will be covered under this session, different sessions. I got this from Kishore sir. He sent me this link and I could attend. Now, since it is his presentation, he has the link and he has shared with me. So why don't you, those who have written their email ID in the chat box, why don't you make it a point that you send the link in the mail so that we can attend this, and the recording and the PPTs of all the speakers, please share with us that this is a wonderful session, very knowledge enhancing, insightful. These are like treasures, they require safekeeping. So it will be good that if you share all this with us.
Sir, we already circulated the email regarding the sessions to all the
I have
members.
not received yet.
No. If I may interrupt, Pujanka madam, what happens is,
Yes, sir.
the email you are sending is going to members of WIRC.
Okay.
I am from
Yes, sir.
Kolkata.
Yes, sir.
I am
Okay,
from
okay,
Kolkata.
sir.
You have to think that people are, beyond WIRC jurisdiction
I
are also
agree.
interested.
Can
I
I
agree, sir.
interrupt for a minute actually?
Sure.
I'm Siddharth Pal. Actually,
Right.
if you go to the institute member portal, actually, there all these classes and sessions are listed there. and you will get the link directly from there.
Very nice,
Sir,
Siddhartha. So,
while I appreciate, it would be always better that if we get the mail at least 1 or 2 days prior to the session, then we can write it down in our diary so that accordingly we can plan our program. Now, every day morning, if I go and log into the institute portal to see which are the webinars there and what would be the webinars in the coming next years, it is little cumbersome, isn't it?
well, to each his own. But what I would like to say is, for example, tomorrow there is a session on fertilizer industry.
I have not
Madam, if
received
you
any
want,
mail.
you can put the link, if possible, put the link in the chat box for
Yes,
people
sir.
to
Sure,
copy.
sir. Yes, sir. I will share, sir.
Hello.
Thank
Sir,
you.
Yes, madam.
yes,
Today
sir.
also I not got the link. I obtained it from Gauri madam before start of webinar.
Sir, we already shared email to all the members of WRC, sir.
I have not received. You asked to Gauri madam also.
No, we
Yes, sir. I
appreciate.
will check, sir. But we have sent email yesterday also, sir.
At least
I
we
would
should.
like to add one more point, sir. There is on WhatsApp, there is a WIRC channel where all these links are also posted by madam.
Yes, sir.
How
We
can
circulated
I
on.
No, you
subscribe to
cannot,
that?
sir. I appreciate you cannot, but there are some limitations for WIRC. At personal level, I am forwarding the links in various WhatsApp groups also, as also on the CAMAP email group. CAMAP is not an official arm of WIRC or of the institute. So only if individual members post something there, it can be seen.
So we are
That is
getting all
why
this info. Sir, sorry for interruption. Most of the
Sure.
time we are getting this information from our other members instead of getting from our administrative department WRC.
No, see, there may be some reason, like, for example, a wrong email ID may have been registered or something like that. Otherwise, I have been getting all these as
Otherwise,
individual
sir,
member.
my suggestion, 1 minute, sir. Sorry, otherwise my
Sure,
suggestion is
please
that.
carry on.
Otherwise, my suggestion that link should be highlighted in our WRC portal when WRC is going to conduct webinars.
That
Those who are
Madam
interested,
Guru
they will
can
go and link. Huh?
that Guru Madam can respond.
Yeah.
Sir, we have already shared on all social media handles and of the WRC, sir. We already
But
uploaded, sir.
today I have not received, I have not seen any link in WRC portal when I log in. वो ब्राउचर भी ओपन नहीं हो रहा था. Browser was also not opening.
Madam, kindly have a look at it so that the maximum members who are interested can attend and get benefited. That is the whole purpose for the members as well as for the administrators as well, right? So
Yes,
kindly
sir.
look into it. There are a few members I have seen in today's chat box, including myself, who have shared their email ID. Kindly take the pain of noting down their email ID and you can add. And for the WIRC members, you can send a flash message and you can say, I have seen, I think, one schedule that on which are the dates, what are the topics and who is the speaker. Somewhere I have seen it, and then I send a message to the current chairman of WIRC. So you can flash it so that members can know that on such and such dates during such and such time period there will be a session, and members can plan accordingly. People are in the service, the people are in the practice, they can have their time management accordingly. And if the recording and the PPT can be shared, nothing like it. That would be brilliant.
Yes, sir. Noted, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Sir,
Kishore sir. Wonderful session.
sir, now we will officially conclude the session, sir. Sir, you are on mute, sir. Kishore, sir.
One small point.
Yes, sir.
Various members are posting their email ID in the chat box. It would be difficult for me to copy those and send. Request you all to, once again, I am posting my email ID. Please send your request on this email ID. Bhatia@kishorebhatia.com. Thank you very much. And Madam, you may end the session now. Thank you very much. I appreciate the queries and the views expressed by participants on this
Hello.
program. And thanks, Pooja Ka Madam, as also
Yes.
WIRC for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Kishore sir, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of the Professional Development Committee of the Western India Regional Council, I thanks the Kishore sir and all the participants for the today's webinar. Our next session is on tomorrow on fertilizers industry. I request all the participants to join tomorrow also. Thank you. Now we will officially conclude this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.